Hi guys, and welcome to this Jimmy Page player study. Now with Jimmy Page, it's all going to be about playing quick, playing kind of frantically, which is the typical kind of Jimmy Page sound, but also playing some really lovely bluesy licks and combining all of that with the full scale, the kind of major and minor full scale to create a very unique sound. Now we won't just be looking at lead, of course we'll be looking at how he approaches his playing, how he writes riffs, because obviously that's a big part of his sound as well. So for the moment, and we're going to kick off with this rock and roll style solo. And it's a great one to start with because it basically uses our pentatonics, our major and our minor pentatonics, which is the typical kind of bluesy thing to do when you're in a blues key. You combine the major pentatonic with the minor pentatonic. So for example, in this song, we're combining A minor and A major pentatonic across the entire song to give us a wide range of kind of majory sounding licks, as well as the minor sounding, more aggressive licks. And that's how he plays across the blues tracks, okay? So we'll get started by learning the first lick, okay? And we'll go straight into it because the first lick sounds like this. Okay, so let's just go through that. First of all, I'm going to put you in the right position because we're in the key of A blues, okay? So this is all kind of over this kind of rock and roll, that kind of sound, okay? So that typical rock and roll 12 bar. And we're in the key of A blues, and therefore we're going to kick off here in the pentatonic shape 4 in A minor. Now, if you think about your shape 4, now in A minor we're going to be using very much the open strings. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, so you really want to try and visualize that scale shape. If you're not sure, then check out the fretboard below where you can see very clearly what the scale shape is. And because we're using that, we're allowed to use this opening lick full of open strings, and that's how you're going to get this very cool hammer-on legato-y kind of sound. So all we want to start with is the open A string, and we're going to hammer on the 3rd fret, okay, with the 3rd finger. And then we're going to pull off. Okay? And then we're going to come straight down to the 3rd fret of the E string and just play that with the 2nd finger. So we get this. Okay, so remember with the pull-offs, you've got to really pluck the note to make sure it's a really clear pull-off. And when I say pluck the note, I mean with this finger, you physically pluck it. You don't do anything with your right hand, okay? So you're going to repeat that 4 times to start with, okay? And that takes you through 1 bar, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then in the 2nd bar, we're going to do it 1 more time. Okay, down to that 3 there. And then we're going to jump up to the open D string, to the 2nd fret, hammer on, and pull off. Okay, so we're still in that A minor pentatonic shape 4. Then down to the 3rd fret of the A string, and then open D string. So let's just do that bit. Okay, and then finishing off by going 3, 0, 0. And on that last note, if you're feeling confident and cocky, play an A power chord. Okay, so that whole lick goes like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, do it a bit more up to time. So I have to admit, it's quite a fiddly little lick, and especially when you're getting at this kind of pace, you know, it's really fast, obviously. So we just do that nice and slow for now because there's no point rushing that lick because it's just going to sound like a mess if you try and do that too fast to start with. Okay, so there's your first lick. Then when we move into lick number 2, we actually move into the major pentatonic, so the A major pentatonic. So lick number 2 goes like this. Okay, so that's going to be our lick number 2. Okay, so let me just walk you through this. To start with, we're in the A major pentatonic shape 1. So if you think about where your A root note is, right there, and shape 1, pentatonic shape 1 will therefore be here. Okay, and if you're unsure about any of this, then I'd highly recommend checking out the blues kind of genre study course, where we talk a lot about mixing the major and the minor in the blues, basically. So we're using the A major for now, shape 1. Okay, so we're going to come up here to the 4th fret of the G string, and we're going to bend that up a whole tone, back down, and pull off to the 2nd fret. Then we're going to play the 4 again, and back to the 2nd fret again. So we get, then down to the 4th fret of the D string, and then back up to the 2nd fret of the G string again. That's the root note. That's why we keep hanging around on that A. So there's your kind of classic, almost country sounding lick. Then we're going to do this cool chromatic thing, okay? Now all this is we want to kind of move from the pentatonic shape 1 in major to the pentatonic shape 1 in minor. And to do that, and this is a kind of cool technique that Jimmy Page employs a lot, we're just going to chromatically do a lick that moves up to that shape. And this lick looks like this. Okay, I'll do it again. And all we're doing is we're just going from 4, pull off to 2, pull off to 0, okay? Then 5, pull off to 3, pull off to 0. Then 6, pull off to 4, pull off to 0. Now don't worry too much about the note choice here, because it's all just creating tension that will resolve as soon as we get to lick number 3, where we're in our minor pentatonic. Okay. For now, the main focus is that you know that you're in shape 1 to start with, and it's just like a chromatic lick that repeats until you get into shape 5, into shape 1 in minor. Okay. So you've just got to focus on making those pull-offs nice and clear. Pull off, pull off, pull off, and then that's the end of the lick. Okay? So lick 2 altogether is this. And that's lick 2. Okay? So I'm going to play lick 1 and lick 2 with a drum beat, and we're going to go at 100 BPM on the 8th notes. So just something like that. Okay? Imagine the backing track is, you know, that kind of classic bluesy backing track. And let me just play you through that. What I'll do is I'll also turn on a little bit more drive so you can hear it as it should be a bit more. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go a little bit slower. So let's bring it down to 80 BPM. So we're really going to go steady now. After 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we have it. So that's your first task. Remember, use the tab, which you can slow it down to your heart's content, and just play along with those first 2 licks, and next time we'll look at the 3rd and 4th lick.